Welcome to the Lancey podcast. Today we'll talk about the Brighton game. 2-1 win. It's what was needed. Cagey end in the last 10 minutes, probably thanks to Reece James being sent off for kicking out like an idiot. And more importantly, the Man United and Newcastle game is also over, where Man United beat Newcastle 3-2. That means that Chelsea are now up to 6th. And if everything goes our way on the final day of the season, we beat Bournemouth and Spurs lose to Sheffield United, we will go 5th. All in all, I call that pretty successful, all things considered.
On that fifth one, I also got excited, and then I saw that they were playing Sheffield United. A
Yeah.
little look at their previous games. In the last 5 games, they've conceded 17 goals and scored 5. So I feel like they've not necessarily done the old. We've got no pressure now. We've already been relegated. Let's just play with freedom. And they've just bent over and taken it up the arse since they got relegated. So not feeling all that confident about it.
True, but we are forgetting one little detail, which is Spurs being Spursy. So I really hope that they cap off this week of Spursiness by losing to Sheffield, because a draw won't do it, unfortunately. But yeah. Anyway, back to today's game. I thought it was a solid first half. Solid
Didn't,
first half.
didn't see much of it. So
No, I
you
know
have
you
to tell
struggled.
me. Yeah, I saw the goal by some miracle that happened in the 30 seconds of one stream.
The Cole Palmer header.
Yeah, yeah, that was all I really got to see of the first half. So I was quite lucky with that one. The rest of it was nothing. So you tell me, how do we do?
Yeah, I mean the goal was great. It was a great header by Cole. I mean, I thought we were in control in the first half. To be honest, had a few more chances. Um, we played the ball well. There was a shape, there was purpose. Considering we were playing in what, second to third gear against Forest, we definitely were playing our game and not letting them play theirs. Um, Brighton definitely brought it back in the second half. Um, and I think they really upped the ante once Reece James got sent off for kicking out, which was just fucking stupid. I mean, so unlike him as well. I just didn't understand it. The bloke's literally just come on. I think he's been on for about, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes max, if that. Can't remember exactly when he came on. Could have even been 10. Um, Takes a challenge, and then as he tumbles, he kicks out. As soon as it was going to VAR, you knew it was going to be a red card. And we took off Jackson and we brought on Thiago Silva, which made sense. Pushed Chalobah to right back. And yeah, from that point on, they started really pressing us, but somehow we managed to defend all the balls. We cleared everything. I thought Cucurella was magnificent today, to be fair. Absolutely bloody magnificent. And he got an assist. I think he got the assist for the Cole Palmer goal. And then yeah, we then brought on, we took off Conor Gallagher and Cole Palmer and brought on Big Les. So that was his first appearance since God knows when. So it's nice to see him back from an injury, and Cassadai. So we're definitely trying to hold on to the lead, which we did, although they did get one back. So it was very nervy for the last few minutes, but we made it through. But the big thing I'm going to take away from this is just the way we play with purpose. I felt sorry for Mudryk. He got shoulder barged in the head. I know you haven't seen it, but from
No.
the angles that you do see, they are quite far away, unfortunately. But VAR said it was inconclusive, um, and therefore no punishment was given to Lamptey. No yellow card, nothing. Um, he's had to go off with a concussion, so we had a concussion substitution. Um,
Yeah. If you compare the two, you kind of go, which one's more damaging? Someone kicking someone, well, shoving someone's leg with their foot outwards in a schoolboy challenge that's not even on the ground, and a shoulder to someone's head. I did hear the commentator basically say like he's meant that.
Yeah, I was going,
All
and that
I'm
was going to
going
be my next
on
point. That was going to be my next point on that one.
on the dodgy stream that I managed to get some English commentary on. The second half I got more of, but I couldn't get any sound, so I was commentating myself for a lot of it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Arguably a better experience, if you ask me.
I was going to
But
say, how did that go?
I had a great time. I don't think anyone else would have enjoyed it, but I had a great time doing it.
So, how much of the second half did you actually see? What did you think of the second half?
I think from like the 60 odd minute on. So I think that stream that I told you about, I managed to see the rest of it, but it like phase in. So like it pause a bit, you kind of miss a bit, and you kind of saw more replays than actual game because it just like seemed to happen to load on the replays. And then it was a goal kick, and you're what is
What's
happening?
happened there?
So I managed to I did kind of catch the big moments because anything that got replayed was just kind of like shown for long enough that I caught a bit of it at least. I thought we played all right. Like you said, we moved the ball well. I think they were up for it and would commit men forward. So I think we had a fair few counter attacks and passed the ball well when we had a decent chance. But yeah, it was difficult to actually really get a proper flavour for what the game was like because I was just getting bits and pieces.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had some chances that we could have done a little bit better with. There were times where they blocked really well, and you know we had men open, and we probably should have passed it at certain points. Madueke could have passed it to Nkunku at one point. I think Cole Palmer could have done the same thing at one point. Um, but all in all, Ronnie actually watched the game with me. That's the first game she's watched all season, despite the fact she refused to watch them this season because we haven't been playing very well. She actually said we were lucky to win the game at the end, which I thought was a bit harsh. I thought it was a bit harsh. I can say that because she's in the shower, so she can't hear me.
It's what teachers don't get paid very much. I don't know what
Huh?
talks about. It's what teachers don't get paid very much. I don't know what I'm talking about.
She gets paid more than me. Fucking hell. Um, by some bit actually. Um, but no, I mean it was a good game. I'm not disheartened by that end result. I'm not disheartened by the performance. It's a great result for us. Like I said, Cucurella, I thought had a great game. Caicedo as well. I thought he was brilliant. He did some really nice balls when he won the ball back. He did some lovely balls through the midfield to a winger or to one of the front three. Conor Gallagher just all over the place, led the team by example when he was captain, and then became captain again when Reece James got sent off because he gave him the armband when he came on. Um, you know, Cole Palmer was working his magic. Gusto's been outstanding all season. Big Trev got in the way and led the back line, in my opinion. The only one
In
that
the
I really,
way,
huh?
got in the way.
Yeah, he did everywhere. He threw his body in front of it. So some of them I don't think
Yeah.
he knew much about, but but no, he was brilliant. He fought for the loose balls to try and stop like corners and stuff. He was brilliant. The only one I actually have a question mark over from the game was Badishil. If I'm going to be brutally harsh and brutally honest, there was a few times where I was like, he probably should have got closer to a ball to clear it and stood still. I think he could have done a bit better with the defending for their goal.
The
Um,
only notable moment that I had for Badashil that I saw was he played one incredibly dodgy pass to Cucurella when he had very little pressure on him.
yeah.
And I was like, that's a pretty basic pass, and you get it to him like thigh high. I don't even know how you've managed to do that.
No, and like I said, Cucurella had a couple of those. He also had one from Sterling at one point where it should have gone to Badiashile, and knowing Sterling, it probably was supposed to go to Badiashile, but he passed to Cucurella. And Cucurella had a man on him, Badiashile didn't. They were quite close together, and Cucurella managed to, you know, keep the ball and then play a decent pass up the pitch. So yeah, I wasn't too impressed with Sterling when he came on, to be fair. But again, it's Sterling.
I'd have been surprised if you were. I think he could score a hat trick off the bench, and you wouldn't be impressed with him. So
Depends on the hat trick. But no, but I thought he was all right against Forest, to be fair. Um, Jackson, I thought Jackson had a good game today considering he didn't play well against Forest. I thought he did a lot better today. Um,
I think so.
question marks over the. I don't know if you saw the replay. Question marks over the challenge by the goalkeeper because he doesn't actually get touched by the goalkeeper when he comes rushing out.
I think we got away with one there. I saw that one. I think we got away with it because he didn't red card him. I think if he red cards him, they go to the screen and change his decision. But because it's only a yellow
No,
card
because it's
and a
outside the
free kick,
box.
he couldn't do anything.
No, but it's outside the box, so VAR can't get involved.
Because it's not a pen, they can't get involved. If it's a red card, which
Oh, okay.
there's an argument it could have been because it's a goal scoring opportunity and he's last man, and naturally, usually when it's a goalkeeper foul someone outside the box,
It's a fair point.
it quite often it's a red card because it's a usually goal scoring opportunity. I think he did kick the ball quite hard and probably wasn't going to get it, and maybe it's a fair enough. But
He
I
does have he
think
does have to jump out the way though, to be fair to him. Because
maybe that's why it was a yellow as well
yeah.
instead of
The
a red.
keeper
Like there's not a lot, there's not really much there, but yeah, he's had to jump out of the way.
if he doesn't get out the way, the keeper is hitting him. And the keeper's
Yeah,
not
but my question to Jackson would be why jump out of the way and then fall over? Just take the contact. Just run normally and take the contact. And then it's cast iron.
yeah, no, I do get you. It was almost like he was trying to play for a penalty and didn't realize where he was.
And it when you do it like that, it looks like you're trying to avoid the contact. Then you realise, oh fuck, I've kicked the ball too hard. I better go
Yeah.
down. Which might be what happened, to be perfectly blunt.
Yeah, it probably was, to be fair. He did have a big heavy touch on that one. And I mean, to top it all off, Nkunku comes off the bench and gets his goal. So
you don't think you predict that this week, did you?
I did.
You predicted Nkunku off the bench, did you?
No, I had him in my starting 11.
Oh fuck! Well, there you go. It doesn't count then, does
I
it?
had it. I know. I had it.
Doesn't
I
fuck.
know. I had
Oh.
Nkunku. I had Nkunku to score, along with Palmer and Gallagher.
Mm.
Not. I forgot to post that stuff. Sorry to the few viewers that watch it. And you
All
had Nkunku.
all season you've
To
going
be
Nkunku off the
fair,
bench. Williams not fit and Nkunku off the bench, and then
Andrew, we're missing something here. You
what?
got the score prediction and the score is right,
Fuck off.
mate. You predicted 2-1 and Nkunku and Palmer.
What's your forfeit? Surely there's a forfeit here.
There
You
was
know
no
what
forfeit for
there
this.
was a forfeit agreed at the beginning of the season, wasn't it? Wasn't it like straw pedoing a bottle of wine or something?
Not
I'm
a
pretty
bottle of
sure there was
wine.
one.
No,
Huh?
we've done forfeits before where you've come out with some outlandish scorers, and I said if they score, you're having a laugh, and you said, oh, if they do, you've got like a straw pedo, a Smirnoff Ice.
But is this the first time that someone's got it completely right?
I don't know,
I think we've
maybe
got
once twice.
scoreline right a couple of times. In fact, we've got scoreline wrong right an embarrassingly small amount of times, I'd say. I
No,
went through, I think, 3 weeks where I seemed to get it right, but I didn't get the goal scorers.
yeah, it's a hard one to get. I think we've had a few starting 11s correct, which we didn't get correct this week.
Starting 11's correct. I mean, let's face it, for the last 5 games, we've only had 11 players fit.
To be
Can't
fair,
really
no,
like
no.
claim that.
To be fair, the last couple of weeks we've had players come back. To be fair,
And I haven't been doing,
but no,
I
do you know what?
generally haven't.
I will say that I reckon that was probably the first, if not maybe the second time that someone's got the scoreline and the scorers right. Next season we'll keep a tally.
Yeah,
Next season we'll do a tally.
yeah. And sorry, are we supposed to be doing the starting 11 and what we think Potter's going to play? Because that has not been my strategy the entire season.
No,
I've just done what I was
it
doing.
was always what we would do.
Yeah,
And then sometimes we've said, oh, I think Potch will do this or Potch will do that.
yeah.
And sometimes I've gone, do you know what? I don't even want to waste my time fucking putting the team out that I want to put out because I know that
Castellani's not going to play.
yeah, Castell's not going to play and
It was
Potch is
what
going
it
to do
was.
something. Potch is going to do something different. But yeah, no, next year we can keep a tally. To be fair, on
Yeah.
that.
Oh, weird that after I do it, the only one of the season and doesn't count was to start again next season. Great.
So yeah, but look, having said that, you were quite pessimistic about getting sixth spot before this game. We have now got sixth. We are now looking to Europa League, and as I said, depending on that Spurs result, we could go fifth. How are you now feeling about this season going into the last game? Having and before
Look,
you answer that
I
question, before
think
you answer that question, I saw a statistic earlier today saying that if you took how we played over the last 20 games and we played the same way in the first half of the season, basically, that we have done the second half of the season, we would be fourth.
yeah. Well, yeah, I'd be happy with fourth.
Yeah, but did you really think we would get fourth this year? Did you really think that was a legitimate thing to happen, considering some of the other teams around us and what they've got?
I got really excited over pre-season form, and I know I like hedged it a little bit in terms of we just look fitter than other teams, and maybe we're in for trouble later in like a few weeks into the season. But I thought no Champions League football, well, like no European football, so we play less games than everyone else. Last time we did that, we won it with Conte. We looked pretty decent going into the season. Like had a good pre-season, got most players in relatively early, and looked like there was some players were gelling with Nkunku who looked like he was going to be big for us. So I think going into the season, well, maybe not just going into the season because Nkunku got injured fucking immediately in pre-season, but
No, he got injured in the last game of fucking
all right,
preseason.
well, there you go. I think I was relatively confident. I thought fourth would be a good finish. If we'd done, to be honest, if we'd done as well as we did in the cups and came fourth at the beginning of the season, I told you that was a really good season. I think to have the injuries that we've had and be where we are in this table
With a new
with the
team and a
form that
new
we've
manager.
shown recently, huh?
With a new team and a new manager.
With a new team, and to be honest, it's not just the number of players we've had injured; it's the caliber of players that we've had injured.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, other than the midfield, where we've been quite lucky because we've been thin on the ground, but we've had our best midfielders fit.
I was about to say I dread what would have happened if we had major injuries in the midfield. I mean, to be fair, I know Enzo's had a lot of stick this season, but I mean he's probably played the last third of the season, maybe a half season with this hernia issue.
I think it's been most of the season.
I think it's at least half.
First
I'm
I
pretty
heard
sure
of
it
it
happened
was at
before
Christmas.
Christmas. I'm pretty sure the first time it happened was before Christmas. He definitely got injured before Christmas.
I heard well, the first I heard of it was before Christmas, and well around Christmas time, and he'd been struggling with it before then for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And he's still been like a very high level Premier League player. He's not performed to anywhere near like the 100 million price tag, but I think he
He's
was
always
not
put a shift
shining.
in. He's never wavered. He's always put a shift in.
And I think he was such a shining light in that, like the last 6 months of last season
When we bought him. Yeah,
when
yeah,
we
yeah.
bought him, and clearly our best player, like week in week out. It was just kind of like a makes sense that he's now all of a sudden struggling because he's got a hernia, and that's just not easy. Um, but yeah, I think when you actually look at the season, I think it's difficult to say it's not successful and it's better than if you sat me down at the start of the season and gave me a crystal ball that said Reece James is going to play like 7 games this season and Nkunku is going to play 10 games, most of which is a sub. Ben Chilwell's going to play 3 sets of 5 games at different points of the season and never going to look particularly match fit.
Colwell's been out for half a season,
Yeah,
third of a
Cole will be
season.
out a lot. Trevor's going to be out a fair bit. Thiago Silva, I assume, was injured at sporadic points. And we'd never have any real consistency in that back line. And you go, Cucurella is going to be your left back for most of the season, which at the start of the season was a fucking nightmare for me.
I
Prove me
think
wrong.
I actually think every defender, bar Alfie Gilchrist, has been injured. Dizazi wasn't injured for a very long time, but I think he did recently have an injury, didn't he? So I'm
Yeah,
not
because
being
otherwise
funny.
they've been playing recently.
Every single, but at one point he was the one player that played every game.
Yeah,
I think at one point we've had an injury to every single player in the
yeah.
defensive
I
that
think
played in
Gusto's been
defence.
our most injury-free defender, and he's missed like 4 or 5 games
No,
running as well.
I think Thiago Silva's overall has probably been.
Thiago Silva just occasionally gets left out, and I don't know
Yeah,
if
that's
it's
that. He
his
got left
injury
out
or
for a
he's
bit
just
because
left
of
out,
A,
but
because of what his missus said, and B, because they thought he was too slow and slowing the game down. Which I didn't really agree with, but
it is what it is.
it is what it is. I look. We're going back to the main point. I mean, to be fair, if we end up finishing, if you're saying like ideally we want to be in the top four, obviously finishing fourth, I think finishing sixth isn't actually awful. And when
Yeah.
you then throw in, out of it, even if you take out all the injuries and all the shit that's happened, I still think finishing sixth with this team is not awful. And actually, statistically wise, we are exactly where we should be, which is Europa League. So I actually think overall it's actually been a really good season. It's ended on a really it's been a good it has ended as a really good season. It feels bad. It looked bad because it was. Even Ronnie was like, I can't believe you're in a Europa League spot. You were 12th not that long ago. I was like, yep. So it's a European competition. It means we can attract a certain caliber of player. It's a lot better than being in the Europa Conference League or not being in Europe at all. It's extra money into the club, which is more than you would have got from the Europa Conference League. Um, so if we secure Europa League, I actually think I'm going to walk away quite happy with that. And actually, we're building on something for the second season. And I actually think Potts should stay for a number of reasons. Because A, buying him out for his last contract, B, getting someone else in. And also I just think if we start again, we're potentially wasting everything that we've actually accomplished towards the end of this season. Um, so yeah, that's my thoughts.
Potchin.
I think so.
I was just looking at the Premier League injury table to be like, well, no one that's particularly close to us has had
No,
anywhere
we
near as
smashed
many
it.
injuries as us, but
No,
Newcastle are right next to us
there's no
still.
one near us. The gap between us and second place, which I think is
It's 50
Newcastle.
games.
Yeah. I think it's Newcastle, which is second.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Brentford or
Yeah.
United,
And
then
then Man
Brentford.
United keep crying at over 70 games less. That's two
Yeah,
players per game.
yeah. But they're crying now because they're having to use Casemiro as a centre back. They've got so many issues with their centre backs, which I can understand. It's fucking ridiculous. Um, but to say that you've had, which a lot of fans say, no one else has had any more injuries that they've had or key injuries, I'm like, absolutely, just jog on.
I mean, we need to hire the West Ham staff because they've somehow had 6 injuries and 22 games missed, which is fucking ridiculous.
Whilst playing in Europe.
Yeah, that's that's mental.
Yeah, it looks. Hopefully next season things are different and we don't have this problem. But I'm feeling a lot more confident at the end of this season than I did actually at the beginning of the season after a few games. So I'll take it,
Yeah, yeah, we've ended with pretty decent momentum. We
which is
look
what
like
you
a
were
club
looking
that's
for.
heading in the right direction, and I think we're easier to sell to players than we were this time last year. At the minute,
Well, again, yeah, exactly. You can offer some sort of European competition, and if you get the right players in, then it's a bit more guaranteed. Arguably next season, depending on how the pre-season goes and maybe who we bring in, there is an argument to say that we should be looking at winning the Europa League because of the other kind of calibers around it. Other caliber of teams in it from other countries. Sorry, especially as like Italy and Germany have 4 teams going into Champions League, I think.
I think partially that's because of how well they've done in the Europa League.
Exactly. So if you think about it, you're not going to have that bigger competition until those teams drop out of the Champions League and come back in the Europa
I
League.
don't think they drop out of the Champions League this next year.
No, they do. There's because it's like low. It's because there's more teams involved.
Yeah,
The top, however many, stay in and play each
right.
other. Then there's a it's like split into three sections. So I think
Right.
the top section stay and play obviously Champions League. The second section, I don't know if it's all of them, but they will whoever finishes highest in a
Whatever
certain few
positions,
places
yeah.
will drop into the Europa League like it always does. And then whoever finishes in the third bit, I don't think they even go into Europe the Conference League. I think they get knocked out, or I could be wrong. They could go into Conference League. Um,
I don't know.
but to be fair, like I said, we finish with Europa League and we get this win against Bournemouth, then
Well, I mean, we're still in a position where we need United to lose against City, right? To get Europa League.
no, not if we finish sixth. I don't think.
Who won the?
I thought I heard someone say if we're sixth, we're okay. I thought it was seventh. If we're seventh and United lose to City, we will get Europa League. If not, it's Conference League.
I don't know. I need to look into it because I'm for some reason on an impression that Carabao Cup gets Europa Conference League for some reason rather than Europa League,
Might too.
and Liverpool obviously won. Liverpool won that, didn't they? Beat us.
Yeah, they did. They
Yeah.
beat us.
And then FA Cup gets you Europa League, and then there's one other spot for the Europa League, is what it seems to show on flash scores anyway. So I think we still might need, unless Tottenham completely fuck themselves over, get the fireworks out, boys, put it out of the hotel.
If they go proper Spursy like they did the year that Leicester won and end up finish, they dropped so many places.
Mm.
I think it'd be brilliant.
I think if they're playing anyone else, I'd have some confidence. I just think Sheffield United are just done for this season. They just want to play in the Championship now. Maybe they'll prove me wrong, but we'll see.
Yeah. Right. With that, thank you all for watching. Great result. We're on the up and up. Hopefully it stays that way and we finish strong against Bournemouth in the last game of the season at home this Sunday at 4:00. Stay tuned for the pre-game analysis. And as always, please like, share, subscribe, comment, follow, hit that notification button. And thank you all for watching.